Never has there been a more beautiful sight to come from the animation department at Lucasfilm than the inclusion of Dave Filoni and George Lucas's brainchild, Ahsoka Tano.
And I gotta tell you, it was perfect.
Minus a few critics, shall we say, that believe she's steadily becoming another Mary Sue because she's had a carefully crafted character development put into her for a little over 15 years that has shown us how she's adapted and learned, she's grown from being a minor annoyance and canonical nightmare to a generation-defining addition to a universe of storytelling that needed bolstering, needed strength on the side of women within the Jedi Order, when before all we had was an assortment of pretty faces and, well, until the Clone Wars, that was about it.
Good job.
Ahsoka was thrown to the wolves at the time when a rabid fanbase were hungry and desperate for more tales from a galaxy far, far away that met with their expectations when at the time, what we had just wasn't it.
I don't like Sam.
Her inclusion proved to be one of the most confusing additions to the franchise when you consider that she was made to be an apprentice for Anakin Skywalker.
Oh. Heard that through the grapevine, did you?
A character understood in canon to have never had one. Then set in a series that explored the length of time between Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith that people universally hated before and were pretty vocal about regarding their disgust for what we were given, people were rightfully questioning these creative decisions. 6 years on, however, from her debut, very few could have anticipated the emotionally exhausting journey we would undertake alongside her. The trials she'd have to endure, the lessons she'd have to learn, and the relationships she'd build along the way all culminated in this incredible woman emerging from the ashes of the prequel era and recontextualized the events of those movies to fill fans with a new sense of respect for what came before.
Fan-fucking-dabby-dozy.
Sadly, at the time though, when Clone Wars was hitting its stride, Mickey Mouse stormed in and decided to cancel the beloved show with almost universal praise for its writing and animation, instead opting for the sequels and a new animated show.
You dick!
A series headed up by Dave Filoni that would explore a merry band of misfits taking arms against the Empire, which would go on to become a beautiful 4-season arc exploring 5 expertly written characters and a psychopathic droid.
Good times!
And was a show that would steadily start to integrate characters from the Clone Wars in a moment of genius when it came to the writing, as it would make it impossible for Disney to simply axe the show's predecessor without immediately undermining their own era of Star Wars.
Congratulations, you played yourself.
And it was from here that we begin the road to the Ahsoka series, starring Rosario Dawson as the titular character. Coming off the back of Star Wars Rebels and following her appearances in both The Mandalorian and the Book of Boba Fett, Ahsoka is now heralding a new era of storytelling that carries the potential to unite both fans of lapsed, old and new.
This is the way.
This is the way.
This is the way.
As we press forward into the new age and bow before the remnants of a glorious time in Star Wars' lifespan as they ascend the stairs of relevance once more, and we'll get to see whether it rises to the occasion or descends into the fiery flames of hell. Now, as trailers go, this did an incredible job of evoking those nostalgic memories and dragged up those feelings I carry for the characters involved in roughly a minute or so of a trailer. And to know that it's being crafted by Dave Filoni, who's been involved with Ahsoka's journey at every point throughout the franchise, it gives me hope that this will be a cathartic send-off for our favourite Togrutan should this be a limited series. Ahsoka has undoubtedly become one of the most protected names within the franchise, and that's because, as of right now, her journey hasn't been hindered by current day sensibilities, and she's been allowed to breathe and jump in and out without question, and that has always made it a comfortable watch whenever she's presented to us. They've never made a mistake with her writing and direction, and I'm thankful that she's been safeguarded, but if this is her final hour, they need to stick the landing with her now more than ever. Heading into this, she needs to be the focus, and the final scenes need to be directed at her. She's been around Star Wars since 2008 and has been involved with some of the biggest plot points and characters in the franchise, so if you show her the courtesy to do that, then send her off with the same respect. As we see in this trailer, she's not going to be alone in this war. For the first time in roughly 5 years, our beloved crew of the Ghost are making their returns to the franchise, and since their reveals, the the question has been flying around of what can we expect from them. Well, we just saw Zeb return in The Mandalorian a couple of weeks back, likely setting up this portion of events, which leads me to believe that he will feature in the show somehow, and hopefully in more of a supporting role, as his story for me felt complete by the end of Rebels. As for the other members, we all know what happened to Kanan, but Hera was set on the path of maintaining order with the rebellion, accompanied by her trusty droid Chopper and her son Jason post Return of the Jedi. Her status for me will likely tie into the formation of the New Republic, especially if Zeb's working with them. I have to believe that Hera followed suit. As for possibly our co-star to the show, Sabine Wren left us with exposition that revealed she's headed off to find Ezra, who jettisoned off into the unknown regions of the galaxy with Grand Admiral Thrawn in tow following their clash over Lothal. So regarding her involvement, it's a guarantee that she'll be crucial to supporting Ahsoka in locating Ezra, as that was his request in the final moments of the series, and as we see in this trailer, she'll be instrumental in combating Thrawn, Morgan Elsbeth, and our new laser sword wielding maniacs. Now, with that refresher in mind, it's obvious where the direction of the series is headed, but I believe there's a little more to it than that, which could make up for the remaining bulk of the story, namely the inclusion of this show's answer to Reva, minus the poorly written subplots hopefully, Baylan Skoll and Shin Hati. Both are reportedly in loyal service to Thrawn, and Baylan specifically is rumoured to be a former Jedi that escaped the events of Order 66 into the unknown regions of the galaxy, where he found Thrawn and possibly his apprentice Shin. Their involvement in this story, should these backstories be the case, leads me to feel that right now, as much as their allegiances lie with our Blue Man crew, they may have a goal of their own, and that could be a desire to stop the resurgence of the Jedi that could align with both Luke and now Rey's intentions in the future with the announcement of new Star Wars movies as well.
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
Not from the perspective of a Sith necessarily that possess a vitriolic hatred towards the Ashra and the light, but more from an outsider perspective that can see the fault with both. Though not necessarily aligning with the beliefs of a Grey Jedi either, they're kind of on a new spectrum of their own, I think. They're individuals and they care only for their goals but are not committing to the dark side, hence the possibility of why they have orange blades. As for their inclusion, I'm intrigued and feel it could strengthen the threat level to our intrepid heroes should they be presented effectively. As for the largest talking point coming out the back of this trailer, Grand Admiral Thrawn is back.
Yes! 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 Yes!
And is hands down one of the best written antagonists to come from Star Wars in both Legends and canon, and his inclusion in Rebels was both a surprise and relief when you consider that most characters would have struggled to gain the traction, coming off the heels of Darth Vader in Rebels' second season.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him.
Thrawn has always been this calculating, twisted, strategic and logically compelling character that has grabbed the attention of fans around the world for years, and when they were gearing up to add him to the lineup for Rebels, you can tell that Filoni and co took great care in his direction and most importantly his casting when it comes to this. It's no secret now, thanks to the wonderful world of the internet, but I got to see an extended trailer at Celebration that gave us a brief look at Thrawn, and it was there that we discovered the one and only Lars Mikkelsen would be portraying the character he perfected back in Rebels. It's one of those rare moments that the voice befits the face, and damn does he look good. I had my reservations about who would portray Thrawn in live action, as the animated version was downright perfect in its execution, so I didn't want it to just be a simple fan cast or dream cast without consideration for someone who carries that air of intrigue and mystery and reflects the very look and aesthetic that you'd want from this character, and can present those nuances that make Thrawn so engaging. Filoni clearly understood the assignment with this and truly cares about the consistency, and openly admitted that he listens to the fans' criticisms during the Ahsoka panel, even acknowledging the fan gripes over Ahsoka's Leku lengths in The Mandalorian versus the Rebels finale. I want Thrawn to possess that same domineering attitude and unsettling presence with the logical mindset that made him nearly unbeatable in Rebels, to the point that Ezra had to take such drastic actions to get him away from the fight. He needs to retain the same logical consistency that we've seen prior to this, and he needs to make you feel the threat. And if it comes to it, and I'm willing to accept this, but possibly lose Ahsoka to him to truly push things forward and make his death all the more vital and fulfilling. Imagine, the only one strong enough to take down Ahsoka never needed a lightsaber to begin with. simply his intelligence and the understanding that both Rebels and Jedi will do what needs to be done. If Ahsoka falls here, let it be a valiant and worthy death that encourages our remaining protagonists to finish the fight, and let it be for the betterment of the galaxy, maybe even falling to protect the legacy of the Jedi, bringing her full circle with the conflict she's carried for years against the Order that she felt betrayed by, letting her bring light to the next generation with the ultimate sacrifice and reminder of what it means to be a Jedi. Following the release of the trailer, I noticed a lot of people hesitant to believe that this could be an inclusive project that allows for both Ahsoka and the crew of the Ghost to share the screen in a meaningful way without detracting from one another. And to those fears I say, just let it play out how it's going to play out. I'm personally happy with what we got from Rebels, and to have them back here is simply a treat. But it helps structure the series too when you trust the supporting cast to do their job and allow the lead protagonists to continue their mission without having to concern themselves or the plot with trivial actions. If Ahsoka's journey dominates the screen, remember she is the titled character, but also her narrative is entangled with the crew, so they are vital to each other. The world between worlds cemented this understanding, so it shouldn't come as a surprise to anyone why they're here, but at that point we were focused on the crew's intentions and Ahsoka came back as a supporting castmate. This is likely concluding her story, so it's important to keep the structure of the show around that, but the fact is the crew are involved in a larger plot that will need an army, and what better leads to charge against Thrawn than the characters we know who can handle it and have handled it before. Then my last note goes to Ezra, the central focus of this continuation. There wasn't much of him here or in the extended trailer, but my only hope is that Iman Isfandi can carry the weight of such a role and bring a new sense of direction for Ezra as we traverse the uncharted path towards the sequels. And should he make it out of this, what could his role be in the future? We can only wait and ponder now until August, with the possibility of one more trailer before then, but for now at least, I'm far more optimistic about this than any of the previous inclusions like the Book of Boba Fett, Kenobi, and even the recent works of The Mandalorian. The visuals look amazing, the casting choices are spot on, the plot seems simple enough and exactly what we longed for back in 2018, and honestly, I carry a degree of bias because of my love for the animated content, but I believe this could be it for me, and what I want from the live action content. On the other side of the coin, however, so to play devil's advocate, this could absolutely be a train wreck and follow suit with the quality we've received recently from Star Wars, and just another piece of shit shooting out the sludge pipe, but on this occasion, I want to remain loyal to what's been told before this and how incredible it all was then. Anyway, until then everybody, that's all I've got for now. Subscribe for more and make sure to keep up to date with all of my content and leave a like on this video as it does help things out a lot. And until then everyone, take care and may the Force be with you.